Hi everyone, it's Raza Von Werder, aka Kelly Everts, talking about my mother Regina. Her name is was Regina, the Queen, the Tyrant Queen, the Abortion Queen. Regina, that's I called her the Abortion Queen. I never thought of that in connection with abortions. Regina, the Abortion Queen. Now, my brother went to college and he got very, very sick with pneumonia because he was taking on too much. He was trying to learn Greek and Russian in the first year of college. Greek and Russian. Are you kidding me? He had bit off more than he could chew. That's my opinion, is that's why he got sick. He got deathly ill with pneumonia. Very bad case of pneumonia. So he had to quit the college. It was Ursinus College. Later on, it took him 6 months to recover. I've had pneumonia before, but nothing like that ever happened to me. I've had pneumonia a couple of times, but it took me a couple of weeks to recover. It took him 6 months to recover. He was, by the way, he was accident prone. I'm going to tell you a little bit about his being accident prone, but he went to Ursinus, and then later, after he recovered, he finished in New York City, a famous college. I can't think of the name offhand. It's famous. I'll think of it later. But as I was saying, so when he was in the hospital for a few weeks, or I don't know how long. Maybe it was a week or 2 weeks. I don't know how long exactly. But we all went when it was time for him to leave. We were all there. So there's two things I want to tell you. How my mother conned her sister, my aunt, Dagmar, to pay the bill. She was a consummate con artist. Consummate. And how she hurt me while we were there. So we're all standing there, and the doctor comes out to give us a report on him. And we're all standing in a line. And the doctor comes up, and my mother introduces each person, tells the doctor each person's name. I'm at the end of the line. So when she comes to me, she skips, like I'm not there. And I'm just standing there. And the doctor looked at me and looked at her and wondered, like, you didn't introduce the last person. And it was like I didn't exist, see? I had no validity. I didn't deserve to be introduced to anyone. And I remember going after that, we were like on the second floor or something, and I wanted to go to the first floor, and I got in an elevator, and I hit first floor, and the elevator, I was all alone, and the elevator going down, 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 and all I saw was like these big cinder blocks, and I was, oh my God, the elevator's taking me to hell. And I've had a phobia. I developed a phobia with the way she didn't introduce me and hurt me. Then I got in the elevator and went down, 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 and you see floors. It must have been going, a couple more flights down into the basement. And of course, I pushed the button again for one and got out of there, but it was scary. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's how phobias are. Phobias start from weird emotional things. The other thing was, when it was time to check my brother out, my aunt came. She got my aunt to come get him. So my aunt goes up to the front desk and they tell her, well, we can't release him until you pay this bill. So she looks at the bill. The bill was $16,000. Now you're talking like 1960. So check in inflation. My aunt was bewildered what to do. You're there to pick him up, but you got to pay the bill in order to pick him up. I literally saw her take out her checkbook and write the check. Now, she was decent, well off. Her husband had a very good job. He was one of the big chiefs of this factory called Gilbert and Bennett in Connecticut, upstate New York. I think he was working there at that time. So they had some money. They weren't rich, but they were, compared to us, they were rich. Then my brother came home, and he was, of course, allowed to have his friends over. And he was home for quite a while, and his friend, and the friend's girlfriend came, and another two people from high school. They came from high school. I remember them. And the boy, the whole night, they were up to like 4 a.m. making noise and drinking and drinking and getting drunker and drunker and drunker and loud. And this was like a house that was like a fish tank, like everything was connected. It was like you could hear every word. And the boy kept saying, "How's your sinuses?" Because he left out of a school called Your Sinus. And he got pneumonia. And the boy said 1,000,000 times, "How's your sinuses?" Big joke. Like after the third time, you would think it would wear thin. But they couldn't think of anything new. The boy couldn't think of anything new. And as I said before, from day one, from the day we were at the farm, my brother used to have friends over, and my mother treated them with kid gloves. One was a Lithuanian boy, the other one was American, and my mother tried to cook American for the boy and burnt the meat. That's the only time I saw her ruin anything. She was so nervous and wasn't familiar with American style cooking. But when I had my girlfriend over, Sandra Selchow, she would not even permit her in the house when we ate dinner. We were having a nice soup, which I loved. I'm into soups. My mom, us Europeans are into soups, really good soups. It was a great soup with wonderful bread, whatever, and she wouldn't let the girl in to eat, and I smuggled a 6-pack of chocolate donuts to her, iced later after dinner when my mother wasn't looking. And then another time I had my girlfriend at the house in Middletown. I brought her over, and we tried to occupy the middle room, which was empty, the middle bedroom. And my mother and another member of the household kept going by and calling us names and saying, "You're prostitutes, and until we got fed up and we got up and left. And then my mother tried to restrain me. She tried to hit me. She wanted to torture me, but she didn't want me to leave. So if you didn't want us to be in the room, you kept going by and calling us prostitutes. So if we left, why aren't you happy that we left?" So she was going to hit me because I was leaving. And we went to my girlfriend's house. And that was the first time I ever restrained my mother. I held her hand back, and she never tried to hit me again. Because basically I was saying, no more, it's over. No more of this shit. She knew it. I was then 16, and I had enough of her crap. To be continued.